Welcome to another session of the Happy Friday Committee, Happy Friday Committee Mindset. Today we have a special guest, Mrs. Mercy out of Kenya, and she does marketing and event planning. Welcome to the show, Miss Mercy. How are you doing today?
Well, thank you very much for having me here. It's an honor.
Today, I wanted to get your opinion on the Happy Friday Committee mindset. I know the gentleman that introduced me to you gave you many accolades as far as what you do in Kenya and everything. And I just wanted to get your opinion on this. If you would, could you tell me a little bit about yourself and everything?
So my name is Mwikali. I am a Kenyan and I live down at the south coast at a place called Diani Beach in Kenya. I am an event planner and a marketer by profession, and I definitely live by the Happy Friday mindset. So I am very glad to be here today to share my thoughts on this mindset.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, let's start with the word. The principles are being fearless, resilient, intuitive, determined, appreciative, and youthful. And we're going to start with the word fearless and just work our way down. So, what is in your occupation and what you do? How does being fearless play a role?
So I think I will start by first describing or defining what fear is, as is described on Google and almost everyone else. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So we describe fear as an unpleasant emotion that is caused by something or someone that we deem likely to be dangerous, painful, or harmful, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And we describe someone who is fearless as maybe someone who is bold, heroic, courageous, all that. But what I've come to realize is being fearless in my definition does not necessarily mean you do not have fear. In fact, a little paranoia isn't that bad to have. It helps you navigate through some or be cautious of some things.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think, in my opinion, I've come to describe being fearless as acknowledging fear, first of all, acknowledging that you're afraid, maybe find out why you're afraid, but also making sure that it doesn't take over you. Like it means that you acknowledge that you're afraid, but you're not going to let it take control over you. You, in this case, have to be the boss in this
Yes,
case.
ma'am.
So, in my personal life and my business life, I have definitely I've had instances where I've had to acknowledge that I'm afraid and then realize that it is not the fear that is the boss here. It is I who is in control.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
So where I live right now is not where I grew up. And of course, most people, they can say they've moved, but I had to like totally start off life in another place very far away from home. And when I came down here, I really didn't know how things were going to play out. I didn't even have a job. I knew one person, and
Yes, ma'am.
I've had to navigate through questions like, how are you sure you can survive? Are you sure you're able to pull this event? Maybe you're afraid that you have less staff, maybe, or not enough finances, all that.
Yes,
In
ma'am.
this case, I have had to recognize that I am afraid because of this and this, but then instead of letting it take control, then I just um, find solutions.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
being fearless to me doesn't necessarily mean you lack fear. In fact, you'd probably be a walking stone if you did not
Yes,
have
ma'am.
fear, you know?
Yes, ma'am.
But yes, so being fearless to me is making sure you let the fear not control you. You make sure that you are in control first.
Absolutely, absolutely. In those moments to where you had a setback when you was transitioning, how did you become, or how did you maintain your resilience?
Well, Um, I think first of all, resilience is something that builds up over a long period of time. I highly doubt anyone is born resilient,
Yes, ma'am.
to
Yes,
be
ma'am.
honest, you know, because it's the ability to withstand adversity and bounce back from difficult life events. And you definitely have to go through those life events fast to build
Yes,
that resilience.
yes,
In
ma'am.
my opinion, resilience takes time and a lot of strength and a lot of help from a lot of people. You
Wow,
know, it takes you reading the right books, which means you're getting knowledge from the right people, people who can help you build your resilience, or
wow,
watching people who can help you build the resilience, or talking to people, or but it also starts from you. Your emotional intelligence has to be top notch, and your
absolutely.
coping capabilities as well, and also your self-esteem, you
Wow,
know.
wow.
If these things don't you don't have these things as your basis, then it might be very difficult to build resilience.
Yes, ma'am.
And enthusiasm is common, endurance is very rare, you know, they say this a lot. So I've had to be resilient. First of all, I had to know what I want, what I'm trying to where I'm trying to get at, and it
Mm.
has involved help from a lot of people and a lot of self-awareness, you
Yes, ma'am.
know, and also the mentality to just keep going,
Yes, ma'am.
just keep going.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
sometimes even in my work, I would say as an event planner, there are so many things that could and go wrong all the time, from weather to your suppliers being ready, not on time. You know, they could be late to, it could be anything, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
and you just have to keep going. So emotional intelligence in this case would come in the sense that you don't panic, or if you do, panic for 2 minutes and then get a hold of that.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
find solutions. You see, you
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
have coping capabilities in that sense. So when you've done this over a long period of time, then I would say you built resilience.
Absolutely. 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 And you said something, you said enthusiasm is common and endurance is what?
Is rare.
Is rare. Wow. That's,
Let me read you something that actually I read somewhere that caught my attention. So it says there's a lady called Angela Duckworth. She
yes,
said,
ma'am.
the oak fought the wind and was broken. The willow bent when it must and survived. You
Wow.
know,
Yes, ma'am.
like you have to know when to bend so that you survive. Because if you're so rigid and the wind comes and it bends you, then you break
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you don't survive in that case.
Yes, ma'am. And that
Yeah. So,
goes into the next principle, which is intuition, being intuitive in terms of
yeah.
your knowing what to do at that particular time, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as I think you just explained that as far as the intuition, or would you like to go more into it, like intuition?
No, I mean, intuition is usually self-explanatory. I usually like to describe it as deep down, you know.
Yes,
Like
ma'am.
that's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
only, I think that's where I would describe it. Deep down, you know. You
Yes, ma'am.
know what you want or what bothers you or what the solution is. Deep down, you know, you could have a few things that maybe make you question that intuition,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
deep down, we all have that ability to understand something without having evidence or any reasonable reasoning, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So using intuition in work and in personal life is something that I think I have practiced for a long time. I would say also that it's also taken a lot of self-awareness and a lot of um, grounding to be able to listen to the intuition. We are very good at ignoring, you know? We are
Yes, ma'am.
very good. Like it would be telling you this is not it, but you're like, but are you sure? Are you very sure? Maybe if I tried.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
I've learned to listen to it. Even when sometimes I don't agree, I will acknowledge what it's trying to tell me. And then, you know, most times it's usually right. That's the that's the funny part.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we have to leave listening to our intuition.
Absolutely. And following intuition is the principle of determination. How
Yeah.
do you remain determined in that?
To be determined first, I think you have to be free of doubt. You have to be free of doubt whenever you're doing something. It could
Hmm.
be creating a better life for yourself. You have to be free of doubt that you can do this. Or
Wow.
even when you're starting a business,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
need to be free of doubt that you can. You could have setbacks, you
Uh-huh.
know, but you need to be determined to get where you need to go. So determined people, they have to shape their lives however they want, you
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
and they don't let their past define them. And you have to be optimistic, and you have to constantly assess your goals. That's one
Wow.
way I would say. Most of this thing, you don't just wake up, and it's practice.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you practice lack of self-doubt, or if you practice to assess your goals every once in a while, and to be constantly optimistic, you will be determined most times when you're trying to achieve whatever it is that
Absolutely.
you're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And once you accomplish your goals, and I think that I love what you said as far as is it implied making the adjustment as you go along. Um,
Yeah.
but as far as after you determine and you hit your target, and how do you show appreciation after you hit your goal? In terms,
Yeah. So a simple thank you usually goes a long way, you
yes,
know?
ma'am.
Like even if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you say to yourself is thank you God for life,
Yes,
already
yes,
you've
ma'am.
done a lot, you know?
Yes, ma'am.
Um,
Absolutely.
I think just recognizing to say thank you is something that we must incorporate in our day-to-day lives. It kind of makes them, you give out what you receive what you give out. And
Absolutely.
if you're appreciative, then life and people would want to give you more. And
Absolutely.
also it's just a good character. It's a good, what's the word? It's a good uh help me with the word. It's a
No.
good way to be, because I'm trying to look for the word. It's a way of life, when you're
Yes, ma'am.
always appreciative.
Oh,
God,
absolutely.
to God, to universe, to even the small things, the animal that gives you milk, or the water flowing on your taps, or the electricity, or a warm bed at night.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
there are quite a number of people going through different things in their lives right now, and they're probably wishing for a little bit of what you have, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
then also, even in adversity, I would say practicing appreciation is something that is good. Um, Even when you don't have, you have to be thankful for, because you know it's coming. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you have no doubt it's coming. You don't have it now, but you're so grateful because you know it's coming.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So I am
Absolutely.
very appreciative. Small ways, even after um an event, maybe you can check on your clients or even the service providers, say thank you for helping you put up a good event, or just small notes also that works very well. Thank you emails, thank you emails, or some gifts, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
So goes a
How do
long
you
way, and of course it has to be genuine, of course.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's the main thing, you know. With that being said, the next principle and the last principle is being youthful. How do you maintain your youthful energy throughout the process?
So I guess we would describe being youthful as being young physically and mentally, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I would say I try new things, like move to new places.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would say I also try and live in the present and not so much in the past and in the future.
Wow.
Kind of being grounded in the present sort of helps you remain youthful.
Yes, ma'am.
And developing a sense of meaning in life, that is also something that I think helps. And focusing on something larger than myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Taking a break when you need to, it will help. And of course, working out your physical muscles and your brain muscles. I think one way I would say of keeping young is, if the brain is young, then chances are it will reflect to the rest of your other areas of your life. If you can keep your brain, that muscle exercised on a regular, read books, have intelligent conversations with people, read on things that you didn't know before, or probably were never in your field, but you have interest. I think this helps, because then you always have this new fire inside you, all the time.
Absolutely.
And that helps to remain youthful. And of course, we have to embrace life.
Absolutely.
You have to feel
Remaining
the love.
fresh.
Yes.
Remaining fresh.
Exactly. So, like doing this interview with you, this is the first time I've done something like this. So I would trying new things.
Excellent. Well, out of all these principles, being fearless, resilient, intuitive, determined, appreciative, and youthful, what principle stands out to you the most, and what principle is actually you live by the most as well?
Resilience.
Resilience. Wow.
Yeah. I don't even think I need to think much on that, because first of all, my life has had to make me resilient, because I'm not saying that I've gone through, I know there are people who've had really tough times.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
the things I've gone through have made me have to build up resilience, And for me, that is the one thing that stands out. Even to be here, even to move or start over in a different place requires a lot of resilience.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that one for sure stands out for me.
Absolutely. Well, that is excellent. You gave us a whole lot this morning.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad I did.
You gave us, it's a lot of jewels in there. What you said about making the adjustment and everything else, and that quote, I'm going to that I definitely have to use the quote. What you said about I think enthusiasm and endurance. That's very, 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 very powerful. Very powerful. But I want to thank you, Mercy, for coming on and doing this interview. And I know this is going to help out a whole lot of people. So thank you for coming on, Mercy.
Thank you for having me. Definitely, I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And just remember, every day is Friday, except Saturday and Sunday.
And Sunday.
Well, you have an
Thank you so
excellent
much.
day, okay?
You too. Have a good one.
You too.